Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome back for the Viper versus Zuppi 2. Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water, it's the Viper and Zuppi. Game 2, let's see what's going on here. I want to first apologize for lying to you about the mirror civs. Last game was Britain's Teutons. This is actually going to be Mongols for Zuppi in blue and Japanese for the Viper in yellow. I apologize for the mistake. It was an intern of mine who has now been executed. Okay, let's move on from that. We can see that Zuppi here is on top of the map. Obviously, again, as Mongols, he's going to have his berries to the side. He's got gold out here in this awkward kind of side position. Maybe he can wall that up. Secondary gold and stone also way off to the side for him. He does have a good safe wood line and some stone on the back. But a very open and interesting map for Zuppi. Not an easy map for him. Viper having his gold on the front, secondary gold on the front. Looks like a very good opportunity to wall around here. Berries to the side, and stone on the front. Viper not having a great wood line close to his TC, but this is good enough. And again, it is Arabia, so there isn't wood everywhere. I suppose it's only part of the game. No boar stealing going on in this game, but both guys scouting around, checking each other out. And we'll speed this up a little bit, since the Dark Age of Age of Empires is always, just about always the same. So the Viper here luring in a boar, avoiding that downhill hit from the boar on his villager, and he's going to lure that in very nicely. Zuppi doing the same thing at exactly the same time. Why? Because they have trained very hard to do this as efficiently as possible. Zuppi up with a mill, going to start taking some berries. Zuppi having 4 on wood, potentially going to drush. Viper having 4 on wood as well. So we could see a drush out of both of these players. Not uncommon to see Japanese go with some militia since they get the faster hit in feudal age. Mongols potentially a counter drush, but we'll see. We'll see what happens here. Zuppi now luring in his second board, having tons of villagers working on that boar. Viper having a few idols just for a split second there. Now they're taking sheep meat, and the second boar is on its way in. Viper without loom, presumably Zuppi without loom as well. Zuppi on 19, going to be going up soon, one would think, since I don't see a barracks. Yep, we'll expect to see him going up in just a moment. Viper does have a barracks, but it's awfully late, so I guess we'll see him probably click up first and then build a few militia. Let's see, Viper has no food. What has he done? Has he... Oh, I guess he's just low on food. I thought he clicked up, but he hasn't clicked up. Grabbing loom before he goes up. Meanwhile, Zuppi on the other side, already up to feudal. Does have loom as well, sending 4 villagers over to get some gold. Mongols will probably expect to see some archers and hopefully some Mangadai if he can get a few castles up. The Viper here looks like he's going to send some militia at some point. I think I remember that from this. Yep, a couple militia there from him. 1 villager over to gold, a second to go over to gold as well. Going to put a wall up across the front here, which is interesting. Potentially going to wall here as well. That seems like a very smart move on his part. This piece here is pretty big, but we'll see how he deals with that. Maybe he'll wall that all up as well. He's got a scout here on the front. Zuppi's walled in his villagers working on gold. He's going to go double archery range. Both players up to feudal at exactly the same moment. Viper is... Where's his military building going to go? 2 villagers here. They're going to build an archery range on the front. Double archery range on the front. 3 villagers working on that, but they're pretty far behind Zuppi here. Zuppi was a little bit more decisive, I would say. Putting his archery ranges up very close to his TC very quickly. And we'll see if he can push that advantage a little bit. The problem for him is going to be that Viper's going to have this all walled off before he can get there. Meanwhile, we can see Zuppi scouting around, Viper scouting around. Viper did build 3 militia, upgraded them to men-at-arms. People love to do this with Japanese. I personally don't, but guess what? I suck, so don't listen to me on everything. Just listen to me watch better players play. Yeah, keep listening to me watch better players play. Okay. Looks like Zuppi here with his scout is looking around, trying to find a way in. The problem is that Viper is soon going to leave him with no way in. So he's blocked off this side. Presumably Viper's planning to block off here, or at least wall the action toward his TC. Zuppi getting a bit of a wall off here as well. His is a little bit more ambitious, and it's a little bit less effective. You know, Viper's got all of his resources within his wall off, while Zuppi's using his resources as part of his wall, which is not ideal. Viper camping these men-at-arms out in the back, a very clever move. I think he's going to wait until this army starts to engage him, and then he can sneak those men-at-arms in the back and try to pick a few villagers off. I think it's a pretty interesting move. Looks like Viper's scout went down over here, presumably to some archers, but I don't see any. And we can see Viper here coming with mostly skirmishers, skirmisher-archer mix for him. That's going to do pretty well against this almost purely archer mix from Zuppi. And Viper still hanging out in the back with these 3 men-at-arms, just waiting for their moment to strike. And now is their moment. Here they come to attack that wood line. Let's see if they can get a villager while this army is distracted fighting his skirmishers. Looks like Viper will get that villager for sure. Yep, so 1 villager down. Zuppi still here distracted by this skirmisher army. Will the Viper get another villager? Oh, 1 more hit. He gets 2 villagers with those men-at-arms. Still putting pressure on the front here. This army is going to go down relatively quickly because of this watchtower. But Zuppi just wasn't paying attention. He lost 3 villagers in the back. And he lost his wood line now just for a moment. So overall, the Viper losing some army here, but really sacrificing it for those villagers and doing a pretty good job. So 3 men-at-arms, considering the militia cost and the upgrade. Getting 3 villagers is probably okay. That's an okay trade. It's certainly going to keep Zuppi more slowly moving through the feudal age. So the Viper here just doing a little tiny bit of harassment with these last couple of skirmishers. Presumably those will be dead soon and they won't take anyone else out. Let's see what happens. Yeah, they're going to get surrounded. Beautiful little pincer move there from Zuppi, and he's going to get all of those for pretty much free. So Viper coming with his second wave of army. He's got about 10 archers here. They're going to camp out on this hill and try to defend Zuppi off. The reason that Viper is being defensive there is because he's up to castle, but Zuppi is up first. Zuppi going with a stable now, 2 stables, researching bloodlines as we speak, so we might see some action out of Zuppi's stables. As Mongols, I'm not sure what he's going to go with, to be honest. I mean, a couple of knights mixed in. Yep, looks like knights. So Zuppi coming with knights, but now Viper is walled in. And he's very strongly walled in, except for here. These palisades obviously being very weak. They seem like the weakest point of Viper's wall off. Viper reinforcing this side of the wall off with houses. That villager looks like she's in danger. She's actually not going to die there, but those archers are going to push her back. Viper sending his archers the long way around. Again, sort of ambushing Zuppi while his army is out of his base. Viper not up to crossbow yet. We should see that in a second since he just hit castle. And Zuppi's just here trying to get in, but he's going to realize very quickly that it's going to take him quite some time to get through that house. Viper up to crossbow. He's against these palisades, as he should be, and he's going to take those out pretty easily. Zuppi here must be assuming that there's a house wall off behind this wall. I mean, that's where he should be prodding at the moment. Not to play Monday morning quarterback or anything, but it seems like that is the easiest place for him to attack. But he's not going there quite yet. He does have his knights here, and they've taken out really all of Viper's archers for not too much. Viper getting a couple of those knights, but really losing this entire group of archers. And I don't believe he got a villager from that whole exchange. Meanwhile, Zuppi's here on the front, getting a huge patch of Viper's archers there. Very nice shot from Zuppi. Viper coming up with the town center to protect that gold. Zuppi's still not technically into Viper's base. This one house stands in the way, and Viper's going to push him back with this group of archers. So Zuppi still poking and prodding around outside of Viper's base, but not quite getting in. Now he's going to get that house. No, he's not. He's not going to get it. He's not going to get it in time. There's going to be a secondary wall of houses up behind it. So Viper here really defending his own end very well. Got a couple of villagers from Zuppi. Zuppi on 72 population. The Viper on 72 as well. I think Zuppi with a little bit more of an army. The Viper probably has a villager advantage. Viper doing a lot of farming here. He has 2 TCs up now. Zuppi with 1 TC, and that is it. So Zuppi really investing in his aggression. And that aggression seems to be going pretty well. A couple of mangonels here on the front, putting a lot of pressure on these. Look at that. 5 villagers taking on a knight. 1 villager goes down. Pretty interesting play. Don't usually fight knights with my villagers, but it worked for him. Zuppi here taking down Viper's his archery range. He's going to take a few houses down, and now he's in, and this could be a problem for the Viper. Viper with a mangonel shot, getting one of Zuppi's mangonels. But look at all these juicy villagers just waiting to be picked off by Viper's knights. Viper's knights won't get any of those villagers, actually. They will go straight for the archers, taking lots of free arrow fire while they do that. And it looks like Zuppi here really didn't get a whole lot of bang for his buck. You know, he got in, and now he's retreating off from that. But didn't get a lot of villagers, didn't get a lot of damage to Viper. And you can see that reflected in the score with Viper up by 200 points now. Viper with a 3rd TC. Let's see. Is Zuppi... Oh, Zuppi's in on this side now. Going to put some pressure on. He doesn't have a lot to put pressure on here. You know, all of these farmers can easily jump in that town center. If we look back at Zuppi real quick, he does have a 2nd TC up now. And he's continuing to put the pressure on. A little less economy for Zuppi, a little bit more pressure. Viper keeping this very large group of archers in the center of his base, doing a lot of good defending with those. And he's really going to take his time, I think, and try to basically get a little bit of a boom going before he tries to come forward against Zuppi. Those farmers a little bit annoyed, but still at work. Zuppi here really focusing on killing all of these houses. Why not? They seem to be not very well guarded, so you might as well get what you can get. Viper there grabbing a mangonel, Zuppi grabbing one back. Pretty good mangonel play from both of these guys. Very even, very equal so far this game. Again, Viper's here is Japanese, so we do expect this many archers. Zuppi here is Mongols, lots of knights, maybe a little bit unexpected, but they're doing a very good job at keeping the pressure on the Viper. Let's see if Zuppi's taking any stone. Zuppi is on 400 stone. The Viper is also on 400 stone, so we are going to see castles from these guys. We may see samurai, and we may see Mangadai very soon. Zuppi here just prodding around with this one slightly unguarded mangonel. Viper here still with that huge group of archers. You know, very scary when you see mangonels on the field and that many archers that close together. But he's going to defend his base with them. That's a very wise move on his part. Their range is going to help him out a lot. He does have a university, so they'll have ballistics. And they're going to do a great job defending against knights, which are basically going to try to run through and wreak havoc. That's not easy to do if you have a whole bunch of archers just standing around firing arrows at all times. Viper trying to come up with a castle here on the front. Zuppi with archers and mangonels, and taking Viper's mangonel out there, 1 for 1. Looks like he is going to push the Viper back for now. Those villagers not making it. A couple of dead villagers there. Zuppi backing off of the pressure there. Viper up to Imperial. Zuppi is up first. So Zuppi really seems to be winning this match, although he's down by a few points. He's got the pressure on. He's going to have a faster Imperial time. The problem is that now Viper is going to have a castle up here on the front, and Zuppi is going to have a lot of trouble getting any pressure in there. Zuppi hits Imperial. Let's see where his castle's going. It's going to go right in the middle of his forward. Seems like a good enough spot to me. And I'm sure we'll see catapults immediately coming out of that. Well, we would if we were on Zuppi, wouldn't we? Okay. Trebuchets, rather, not catapults. And Zuppi coming here to grab some more stone with about 10 villagers. So he's going to be aggressively building castles if he can. Viper just doing a really good job at staying at home, being patient with these crossbows. You know, losing villagers, taking damage, but all in all, doing a really good job at defending his own end and keeping the score lead throughout. We can see back here, Zuppi is now on 3-4 TCs. Viper is on 1, 2, 3, 4 as well. A little bit of action here on the front. Zuppi trying to drop a castle. Viper pushing him back. Looks like Zuppi will not get that for now. About 64% done there, so he had a chance, but it didn't quite get there. And we have a bit of a catapult war here going on now. We can see Viper's Mangonel here. One Mangonel, two Trebs. They're going to be shooting at each other, actually, for the moment. So a little bit of a Treb war. That Mangonel going down to that Treb. This castle's still in construction. A couple more villagers working on it. Or I guess they were actually just repairing those Mangonels. Viper with a siege workshop on the front. Viper up to Ardablest here for the Japanese. And we're just seeing a bit of a Treb war, and these two guys are trying to see who's going to control the center of this map. You know, if Zuppi can get this castle down, he's going to put so much pressure on Viper's gold in his economy, he should be able to get the win. So, we'll slow it down for a second. I'll catch my breath. The Viper here really shooting a lot of arrows at that house. That's pretty exciting. Look at Zuppi with all of his villagers here. They were over here mining. They're going to abandon ship. They're not even going to hang around to try to keep this castle up. It looks like Viper's going to get that down with these 3 Trebs without a fight at all anymore. Meanwhile, Zuppi back here. He's going to grab some gold. Let's speed this up. He's going to drop a castle here in this pinch point so that Viper can't run on either side here. Seems like a decent spot. Would have been nice to maybe defend this gold a little bit better, but he has his reasons. Looks like Zuppi here was trying to put some pressure on with a couple of Trebs of his own. Viper up to Onager, and he's going to get both of those Trebs. He's also going to get these monks, and it's looking like Zuppi is giving a lot away for very little at the moment, and Viper opening up a huge score lead. So Zuppi had control of the map. The Viper played very defensively. Zuppi was to Imperial first. It looked like he had a good chance to put some pressure on, but the Viper just did a great job defending with those crossbows in the center of his base. And now they're Artablests, and they're here to stay. They're here to harass. These villagers over here, obviously not known to the Viper yet. Does the Viper know those gold piles are there? He doesn't. So the Viper doesn't know about that gold. He knows about this one. It looks like he's going to come over soon and see what's going on. On his way, he's going to take this castle down. No villagers around to repair it. It's looking like the Viper is fully pushing back on his opponent now, and he's got the momentum behind him. Those catapults now getting that castle down, and they will go to where? Oh, looks like Zuppi here with a couple of Hussars. They're going to run into the back and try to do some harassment. Does the Viper have anything to guard his villagers? A couple of castles there. Those Hussars will run right by it. They'll also run by this Onager, running all the way through the Viper's base. And it looks like they're going to try to put pressure on the back. The problem is there are TCs everywhere for the Viper. So they'll get a few villagers there, but we won't need to focus on them too much. I think they're going to go down pretty quickly. Meanwhile, the Viper here losing 3 Onagers, but he still has his 4 Onagers. He still has 3 Trebs up, and those are going to be guarded really well by these Artablests. And they're going to come after this castle. Looks like Zuppi is going to start to repair it. Let's see how much stone Zuppi has. Zuppi has 330 stone at the moment, and he's going to spend probably all of it trying to keep that castle up. We can see that stone number just dropping precipitously. Viper's still firing shots at that castle. One of his Trebs is down. Zuppi aiming at his Trebs with a Treb of his own. Viper still hitting that castle. Zuppi down to 4 stone. So Viper doing a pretty good job there at draining his opponent's resources. Those Artablests still alive. They're starting to shrink in number, but they're still there taking out scouts. There's now going to be some samurais alongside them. Elite samurais, I should say. And Viper's still hurling stones at this castle. So he's really sucking up all of Zuppi's stone by attacking this castle that Zuppi's trying to heal up. We can see Zuppi with another town center here. He's built his economy even bigger. The problem is he's down by 4,000 points at this point. His villagers here getting pressure on from these samurai. That castle's still getting hit by this treb. This treb is still up, even though Zuppi's been sending trash. You can see it littered all over the ground here. Viper coming forward with 2 more catapults. He does get that castle down, and this has to be just about it for Zuppi. Looks like he's pushed back into his own base. He's gone fully to hussars because he doesn't have any gold left. And he's going to be dealing with Viper, who does have quite a bit of gold and will be building gold units still. You can see those artiblests still out. This is actually a pretty large group of hussars. Maybe they can take this group down, but Viper will get a few more shots out of his catapults, I think, before they break into pieces. There's one down. It looks like he could lose another, but Zuppi mostly cleaned up for the moment. Viper reinforcing with more artiblests, another catapult, and there's Zuppi with the good game. So, game 2 out of 4 between the Viper and Zuppi. The Viper wins game 2. Zuppi won game 1. Lots of TCs in this game. Looked like Zuppi had the initiative early on, but he wasn't able to capitalize and get the win because Viper defended very beautifully. Thanks for tuning in. My name's Tyler. Tune in again for game 3, and I'll see you there.